Hi and welcome to a new video. In this video I just wanted to do a quick review and go through the latest news that we have on Wi-Fi 7. So it does seem like we've just actually gone through and get used to Wi-Fi 6E and the 6 gigahertz band that includes now, but now there's Wi-Fi 7. So as we know, that it never stands still in technology, but this probably will not be out for at least until next year. Probably second half of the year kind of thing. There is some products that have been advertised, and I think specifically by TP-Link, they've already started advertising their Wi-Fi 7 routers or routers. So we can go through those later just to have a quick look to what they're offering. But again, the speeds are completely out of this world kind of thing. And again, they're not really to take with a bit of a pinch of salt, just like with Wi-Fi 6E. That has actually made a big difference when you've seen them in my previous speed tests, and as I've just been testing as well the new Asus Republic of Gamers GT-AXE 16000, and that seems to be like the newest standard now. So before it was always my Asus GT-AX 11000. That's still a rock solid router, and I'd still recommend that to most people because all devices still support Wi-Fi 6, and then because it's got so many bands on the GT-AX 11000 and it's just rock solid, it's never given me any trouble. It has all the features of VPN servers and everything else. But now actually I've upgraded my home network to Ethernet, and it's on and my switches, I did it on the cheap by finding some secondhand switches and cards that needed for 10 gigabit Ethernet. So I've upgraded that. So now having the Asus GT AXE 16000 that has two 10 gigabit Ethernet ports in it does make my throughput much quicker now, especially transferring to my network storage device and everything else. It just makes things like a blink of an eye kind of thing, so you sort of get used to it. So as we were saying, on Wi-Fi 6E, it seems to be we just getting to get used to that, and the 6 gigahertz frequency. Now Wi-Fi 7 has come along. So now we'll just quickly go through and see. So this is Wi-Fi 7. So as you can see, what is Wi-Fi 7? So it's the new upcoming standard. Before they had all the AX and Wi-Fi N and things like that. So officially this is 802.11be. So of course it's much better now. The Wi-Fi standard have just numbers after them. So this is Wi-Fi 7. So the previous one was Wi-Fi 6E, and that brought the 6 gigahertz frequency band. So what Wi-Fi 7 does now still has, it doesn't bring any further on the actual frequencies, but it actually on the bands, it actually opens up, as we'll see later on, the banding and the frequencies within there, so you've got a lot more channels and things like that. So as you can see here, the throughput is absolutely bonkers. I mean, they're saying the theoretical speeds here, of course. So as we said, we take a pinch of salt. So as we can see here, 11AC was 6.9 gigabits per second. Then 11AX was 9.6, and now they're saying this new Wi-Fi 7 is up to 46 gigabits per second. I mean, that's probably faster than anyone in this world would probably need that kind of speed. And again, the problem is the higher these frequencies go and things like that, the distance and things like start to lose that, and also to benefit from this, like with Wi-Fi 6E and the 6 gigahertz frequency. It has shown on the Asus router when I've been testing the GT-AXE 16000 that even on the 6 gigahertz frequency it is capable of reaching much further than I thought, and at high speed. So that really surprised me. So obviously they've done something there with the antennas and everything else, and then with the CPU and all that. So they've done a really good build on that one. So here's the theoretical speeds, and again, as we said, we just take that with a pinch of salt. So as you can see here, it does include the 2.4 still, because we know a lot of devices still use a 2.4, the 5 and the 6 gigahertz. So that was the same as the Wi-Fi 6E. And again, it's utilizing the full spectrum of all of those there. What Wi-Fi 7 does introduce is the 300 megahertz ultra wide bandwidth. So before, as we see later on, we only had in the hundreds kind of thing. Now it's 320. So we had 160 before, and also the QAM is now 4096. So the QAM, we did see this before in some of the Xiaomi actually devices. You might have seen a long time ago they actually brought out a router, and there was confusion because they actually called it Wi-Fi 6E, but it was not. It was just Wi-Fi 6 enhanced. So that confused even me when I was looking at it. I thought that they brought it out to the market much before everyone else. So as we can see here, basically they're saying that it's completely bonkers fast on the Wi-Fi 7. And again, what it offers, so the 7th generation of Wi-Fi, so we can see here it's 4.8 times faster, up to 46 gigabits per second, 100 times lower latency, so that's really good if you're using these new VR and AR headsets and things like that, but also for gaming. But again, your Xbox and then your PlayStation, they don't even support Wi-Fi 6E. So unless they bring out a adapter or something from Microsoft or from Sony, you're not really going to benefit from all these mega low latency kind of thing using the Wi-Fi. Again, it's always best to use Ethernet if you can on gaming consoles like that. But yeah, again, unless the consoles support this frequency, it's a bit useless, to be honest. You've got the 5 network capacity. So again, this is, as we said, it's got the 320 megahertz now and the multi-link operational. So again, this is where it can multi-link, you can go upload multiple uploads and downloads and things like that. So it can multitask much better, and it says it provides up to 5 times greater capacity than Wi-Fi 6. So again, they're referring to Wi-Fi 6, not Wi-Fi 6E, because I'm sure that number will be much lower, because Wi-Fi 6E, it also includes the 6 GHz frequency. So as we can see here, it does give a really good table on here, so you can pause this later on just to read it at your own time. But it basically just breaks down what the difference between from the previous generations, going back to 2013 and Wi-Fi 5. And then, so again, we've got Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E. So we can see here the 6 and 6E at the same speeds, but the bands here, you've got the 6 gigahertz, so it's much clearer and everything else. And again, this is the channel sizes that all went up to the maximum of 160 megahertz. As you can see here, it does increase the numbers hugely along here. I mean, jumping from 9.6 to 46 is completely bonkers, really. And as you can see here as well, for the multiple input, multiple output, so now it supports 16 times 16, so that can do a lot more multitasking and things like that. So again, these are all very good to have, but will you actually support it? So I think, as I said here, is expected 2024. That sometimes these routers will come out a bit earlier than this with a draft version of the firmware, like we've seen before with Wi-Fi 6E and 6 and previous generations. But again, it's always best to wait. And again, I think, as we said, most devices are just catching up with Wi-Fi 6, and some even the newer ones. I think the new iPad Pro has got Wi-Fi 6E. I know the Samsung phones, but majority of devices still don't support Wi-Fi 6E even yet. And that's been out for a while, since 2021 when it first got released. So it just shows you that our devices are still quite slow, and also a lot of devices you'll find smart items, devices, IoT devices in your home, like your light bulbs and your smart plugs, they all still use the 2.4 gigahertz frequency because they get much more distance. Again, these are just the theoretical speeds and everything else. So it does go into here is about how does Wi-Fi 7 work. So again, as we said there, on the 6 gigahertz frequency now, instead of 160 as it says here, now we've got 320. So basically it just gives you all those extra lanes of more information that we can send and back and forward and everything else. So that basically gives you a lot more bandwidth. So as you can see here, the 16 times 16 now, as we said before, the multiple inputs, multiple outputs. So again, this is to grow your traffic. So as we know, so many devices now are actually you know, everything is smart device nowadays. Even your toothbrush, I mean, even the basic things, the hoovers, and everything seems to be Wi-Fi connected. So again, to actually cope with this, that's why they're increasing this, so it can cope with contacting multiple devices all at once, kind of thing, so it doesn't get bogged down. Again, this is going to be seriously overkill for most home. And again, as we said about the Qualm, it packs in about the 120% data for higher speeds. Again, I'll pause this so you can read through. I won't bore you with all this information, but there's some technical information here, so you can read through it and everything else. It is quite interesting about the actual Qualm and then how it actually works around lag and online gaming and things like that. So it's quite good. We have the basically here for this is the resource unit. So this is the multi RU. So you got Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7, as you can see here. Basically on here to solve the problem. They had an issue here with it said there with Wi-Fi 6, each user can only send or receive frames on an assigned resource unit, which significantly limits the flexibility of the spectrum resource scheduling. So that means it going back and forward. And so in Wi-Fi 7, to solve this problem, they further enhanced it and allow multiple RUs or resource units to be assigned to a single user. So again, it's made it more efficient basically. And again, you've got down here information about no congestion. So again, they're actually going through about the different channels and everything. We have got more information around here, so more technical information about the multi-link and the single link. As we go into the actual Wi-Fi 7 again, you can just pull this on your screen and then have a read through it. I don't want to go into too much details. No, I know sometimes I do. So this information is already here for you to have a look at. So as you can see as we go through. So again, is it good for gaming? So again, they're saying around the VR and the AR kind of headsets that you've got now and the massive online gaming and also 4K and 8K. There's not many people that have video 8K still. I think there's some TVs out there, but I think if you're living in the UK, I think even on Sky TV and, you know, streaming and things, you've got 4K. I think like I stream it, but still there's majority is even still blooming standard definition on most of the things, or 1080p if you're lucky. So I think the 8K is well ahead of its time. And to be honest, with 8K you can still get that with Wi-Fi 6 or even definitely with Wi-Fi 6E. It's been no problems at all when I was testing that out. So again, you got experience of basically using the Wi-Fi 7 because of that extra speed and the latency, like it said. So hopefully one day when all our consoles and everything else will support this Wi-Fi 7 or even Wi-Fi 6E, then hopefully it will make things much quicker and the latency will come down for us people that have to use Wi-Fi to connect to the internet and then do online gaming. So again, around the intelligence, and they've added to Wi-Fi 7 to make it much more responsive for your devices. Again, they're saying here around who needs Wi-Fi 7. It is an enthusiast kind of thing right now. So again, with Wi-Fi 6E, these devices are not going to be cheap. But again, if you want the state of the art, and to be honest, like with the new released GT-AXE 16,000 model, yes, is not cheap. And I know times are hard kind of thing, but this thing is, testing it is actually fantastic. I think it's the best router I've tested so far. And it, you know, it's with its two 10 gigabit Ethernet ports on there, one 2.5 gigabit for the WAN. I mean, it will basically last you, and then using Wi-Fi 6E as well, and then all the bandwidth, the CPU and the RAM and the power it has, I think it will last you many years to come. So you're putting the initial outlay of money down, but I think you'll last you a long time. So sometimes it is worth paying out the money and everything else. So again, they said that, you know, this is going to be this, you know, for gamers, but also for people who've got quite a little bit of money. So as we said there, this is TP-Link. So this is their list of routers that they're actually coming out with that are Wi-Fi 7. And it's one, as you can see, there's like ones like Star Wars, it's like Netgear kind of thing. And then these look like XPS Dell computers, the shape of them. these ones here. So we'll quickly have a quick view of them. So as you can see here, this is their top of the line one. This is the Archer BE900. So this is the B24000. So as you can see here, this is an actually beast kind of thing. And it has all the ports. We'll go into specifications in one sec. So as you can see here, just in a quick picture, it does look actually quite nice. You know, it's got powerful CPU, it says, but don't tell you what CPU it is. So powerful could mean anything. But yeah, and then it's got around here the speeds, and I like the little speeds on the front here. It's giving you like an idea of the speed of download and upload that you're receiving. But I like the design. The only worry is that again, all the antennas are all built into this device kind of thing, and this shape and this amount of heat as well. Now going to 10 gigabit ports, you know, for heat dissipation and things like that. That's why I prefer the Asus ones. Their design antennas, I can move them still around. They're not removable anymore because they have Wi-Fi 6E on the newer models, but you can actually direct them, and also I find the ventilation of the design is much better. But of course, it's still a big router, massive in fact. But it feels like when you buy something for so much money and it's that size and weighs that much, then you feel like you've got your money's worth. So quickly have a look at the specifications, as we said. So this has got the 6 to 5 gigahertz bands and a 2.4. And as we see here, it's using the, as they're mentioning, this is the Wi-Fi 7. Again, it's a bit odd that such an advanced router that's capable of 46 gigabits per second and things like this, as you can see here on the speeds here, and it still comes with a USB 2.0 and a USB 3.0 port. I mean, that's just a little bit ridiculous, to be honest, because look, you've got two basically 10 gigabit ports here for Ethernet. So even if you want to use, you know, most of these routers now support media server and file server, and you're plugging in your USB 3.0 USB stick or hard drive, that's going to slow everything down here. So what's the point of having? Again, it's nice. I can see what they've done. You know, they've got all these multiples, so it's quad band. So that's good to see. They included 2 5 gigahertz because most people still won't be using the 6 for a long time. But again, it's just a little bit odd why they would include a USB 2.0 and a USB 3. I mean, they could have upgraded these ones without any extra costs, I don't think. And also these ports here is good, so it's good to see those ones there. They've got 4 2.5 gigabit LANs. That's really cool for the enthusiasts and everything else. And you got the speeds here as well, up to 11,520 megabits per second on the 6, and then on each of the 5 you've got 5,760 megabits per second. Again, it would be good to test this eventually, but again, it gives you no details around what the actual CPU is or RAM or anything like that. Again, perhaps this is just because it's not out yet, so it's they're just giving you the basic overview. But again, it's just a bit odd why their specifications are a bit lower. Next, we just go to their gaming. So this is their gaming router, new Wi-Fi 7, and as I said, this is the Archer GE800 from TP-Link. So again, we've got the 10 gigabit Ethernet ports and everything else. So this is the equivalent of the Asus Republic of Gamers routers, so the GT AX 11,000 or the AXE 11,000 or the AXE 16,000. So basically this includes also the WT Fast game private network feature built in, and then also it's based around gaming and things like that. So it's got a dedicated gaming panel, just like you'll find on the Republic of Gamers from Asus. The only thing again is good that it's got so dual 10 gigabit ports. Again, this is probably the equivalent now of the GT AXE 16,000. So you can see it's like a Star Wars shape. You know, it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It looks quite nice. And again, you've got Wi-Fi 7 speeds up to 19 gigabits per second. And then you've got acceleration for games as well. So as we said, it's got the exclusive game panel within the firmware. So it'd be good to see what it actually achieves and everything else. And then quickly look at the specifications. Again, we're comparing this to probably the GT AXE 16000. It's a bit disappointing that the Asus has a quad band, and this is for, I'm sure this is not going to be cheap when it comes out. Again, it seems to have must be business reasons, but it just seems again they're aiming these at enthusiasts, and you're only getting basically one 6 GHz frequency, one 5 and 1.2. And as we said, most people still won't be using the 6 GHz, so it would have been nice for a gaming router to have two 5 GHz bands. It does have the new QAM and all, of course, the Wi-Fi 7. Again, it's nice to see that they've got the two 10 gigabit per second Ethernet, and then two 2.5. So that's good to see there. Again, a bit disappointing with USB 2.0 and 3.0 when they've got all these massive speeds they keep advertising, and you're not going to get much out of it if you're connecting by Wi-Fi. I presume if you're connecting over Ethernet, then it's fine. But again, people like, if you've got your tablet, your phones nowadays, and you want to access your your backup hard drive or anything like that, straight onto your router, it's a bit disappointing. They've got these slow speeds and everything else. Again, so yeah, as we said here, these are the basic ones that you can see here and everything else. So yeah, they do look impressive, the speeds and everything else. So when Wi-Fi 7 does come out eventually, then I think it truly will be amazing. It will definitely be a step up, but will anyone actually achieve these 46 gigabits per second, these 19 gigabits per second kind of thing that they're advertising? We'll soon see, and everything else. So as we can see here, this is the Asus GT AXE 16000. So you would have seen my previous videos. I've been doing a review. This has currently got two 10 gigabits per second Ethernet, and it's got a 2.5 for the WANs. That's just for your internet, and you've got four 1 gigabit ports as well for Ethernet. And again, you've got USB 3.0 and USB 2.0. Again, this is an actual beast. Again, this thing is absolutely crazy fast. It's been rock solid. I've not had any issues. And again, what's really good about this is I know, again, as I said, it's quite expensive. And this is Wi-Fi 6E. But as you can see here, I think you'll have more than enough speeds because it goes up to 11. And yes, and it's got the two 5 gigahertz frequencies that I like, because still most of my devices are up to here. So as you can see here, yep, this is non-detachable, and you've got basically 8 external antennas and an internal. You've got 4 of them, and of course it's got lots of RGB, and we all know RGB makes everything much quicker. But it does look nice. But yeah, so it would be good to see when Wi-Fi 7 comes out what Asus will do and everything else. But right now, I'm basically thinking the new king of routers is this GT AXE 16000. Is the one I'd recommend if you have the money, and as I said, it's not cheap, but it will last you a long time, and it's future proof with all the Ethernet ports, the Wi-Fi 6E, and basically all the features that it comes with. And knowing Asus with their updated firmware, they support you for many years into the future, so they just won't leave you high and dry. After 1 year or 2 years when a new device comes out, they won't give you any security updates. And also, again, you've got for the GTA XE 16000, you also got the really good Merlin firmware as well. So if you're interested and enthusiast of that, you can see my other videos, and I think he's got some beta versions of that new firmware coming out as well. We've added new features, so that's always good to give you options as well. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know, again, I said it was going to be quick and everything else, and I've gone on and a little bit longer than usual. But again, this has been the review of the Wi-Fi 7. I'll leave it a description and the links and things in the video. Again, if you have any questions, or I'd like to know what you think about Wi-Fi 7 compared to Wi-Fi 6E, and it'll be good to hear what your thoughts are. Okay, great. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.